Hey guys, how are you? Welcome in to Sunday, where we have soulful conversations about spiritual personality typing. So it's personality typing with the spiritual understanding. It's something new, um, something that I found to be a solution. Little play on words there. When I went through my 7-year life tsunami, it was quite a life transition. So today, I'm gonna grab a cup of coffee or a glass of water, whatever fuels you, some tea. And because today we're gonna be talking about 3 hidden secrets that can be found within your personality traits. And of course, I know there's more than 3 hidden secrets. And there's so many different personality types, 16 in all, that I can't possibly go into all of them on a blog. It would become a book, which I'm writing. So you'll see all those in the book. But I did give you a journal prompt within the post. Since I can't be specific to you all, you can, if you want to take the initiative, use the journal prompt that I presented in the blog post for this week's blog post. So hopefully that'll be very helpful to you. I try to be very intentional when I post these blogs because I really do. Sorry, my hair is tickling me and it's hot out. So it's like, wow. I really try to be very intentional with these posts. I post to help you learn, to help you evolve yourself, and help you find your true self. That's really, really all I'm all about. So if you're going through a big, major life transition, and why I'm talking about transitions is because I'm getting back to the roots of what I went through. I went through a 7-year life tsunami, okay? And what helped me was starting to look at these traits and seeing all these hidden possibilities that I wasn't even using. And they're innate. And I call them, you see them within your hidden eyes. They're hidden, but they're hidden right in front of you. You know, so your hidden eyes, once you open your eyes, you know, you kind of open yourself up. You unlock all these potentials that are found within your personality traits. You know, they are the gifts. They are why you have your personality type. Because your specific traits suit you perfectly for your life, for your trials, for your tribulations, for your struggles, and also for your greatness, for the grandest vision of yourself. So it's really exciting when you start thinking about this because, you know, we all look up. There's no external guru or teacher or parent or partner that can really help you look at your traits, because those are your traits and your traits alone. Yes, there are other personality types that have similar traits, but they don't have your soul. You have a signature soul, which God gave you, or Allah, the great I, whatever you want to call it. I like to call it divine intelligence, which divine intelligence gifted you for your specific life journey. We all have different life journeys. Now, we may have similar personality types, but what makes us all different is our life journey. So let's get into the 3 hidden secrets. So one of the secrets I kind of already touched upon, right? And that is just by looking at your dominant trait. And I want to stop here for a minute because that word dominant is very much a word from the 1950s career typology, which is fantastic. But let's think about this. Now, and typology and personality typing has been around since for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. I'm just referring to the Myers-Briggs typology because that's kind of what I use for a lot of my work. And I don't want to go into all the other ones I use, but that's the majority of what I rely on. But if you think about it, going back to this dominant trait thing, this was all started, like I said, from the 1950s career typology. What was going on in the 1950s? Well, it was a post-World War II boom. It's about big institutions, big government, following systems, rebuilding with big systems and processes. Okay, it's a very patriarchal world, right? So a lot of the traits and a lot of the meaning and so forth behind the traits, because words have energy, and so those words have energy, and so like this dominant trait, it's like dominant trait, I'm dominant. It's very, I don't know, I think it's very artillery in nature. It's very warlike in nature. And I'm going to be changing those traits. And again, you'll see a lot of this stuff in the book, but what I like to call that trait is your essential trait. I know I went on and on, but it's very relevant because your essential trait is very important to who you are. It's essential. It's essential you. It helps you step on the path to your true self. See, there's not a lot of studying here. The studying and what you have to know is overcoming the obstacles of all of the conditions, aspects of ourselves, the fear, the expectations, right? From family, from culture, from society, our own life experiences, what we've learned. Sometimes, I know for myself, I can only speak for myself, but I've been hurt deeply in relationships. So I'm not as open. I have not been. I am now. But it took work to open myself up and say, that is something you have to learn. And even if I step into another relationship that's not the best for me, I'll know that it's there to teach me something about myself so I can evolve my soul. But this time I'm going to be much more well-armed because I'm going to use my personality traits. So I'll already have that enlightenment of knowing myself. My personality traits are part of myself. So one of those hidden secrets is just knowing your essential personality trait. That's your primary trait. It's the trait that you use most often. It's most prolific in your life. It's what you rely on, okay? And we rely on all the traits, but this one kind of is the most dominant. It's a lot of examples when they talk about this. It's like, are you right-handed or left-handed? Well, if you're right-handed, you tend to use your right hand more often. Same thing with the trait. It's the same analogy, right? And then there's a second way that things are hidden within you. And I'm skipping around here. One of the ways you can start finding some of your hidden traits too, is I call them type triggers. Ooh, that's juicy. Because your triggers are oftentimes based around your traits. So they're triggering a trait within you. And I want to stop for a minute here and just tell you, traits don't always have to be negative. And they're not always negative. Traits are good things about yourself, and they're not so good things about yourself. But if you're getting triggered, it's something you have to learn. So it could be a negative aspect of yourself that you have to learn or you're not aware of yet, that your soul self is saying, okay, you need to become aware of this because it's becoming an issue. It's bringing negativity and negative energy in your life. You don't need that. So you need to sort through it, figure out where the truth of that is for you, and then find that truth and work yourself through that. Does that make sense? But then there's another aspect of triggers, okay? And that aspect of triggers too speaks to when somebody triggers you, it's because you are involved and you're like, I'm not putting up with that anymore. So like I was saying about a relationship, if somebody steps in and I feel they're not being respectful or they're not honoring myself and my ways and my beliefs, you don't have to believe what I believe, but you certainly have to honor them, right? And you certainly have to respect them and me for what I believe and not force your stuff on me or treat me different because I don't believe what you believe and that I have to believe what you believe, okay? So this is another trigger. But like I've learned to set up boundaries, I will stop that trigger. So that's a teaching moment for another person. So sometimes your triggers are teaching moments for another person. So in that instance, I would stop that behavior and then I would have a conversation, a conscious conversation with that person to say and discuss what the boundary that was crossed. So there's another way to look at triggers, right? Sometimes they're for you to learn and sometimes they're for you to teach. We live in a dualistic world. That makes sense, right? Right? And another great aspect of your dominant personality type, or as I say, the essential self, is that trait, while it's awesome and it's essential, right? It's core, it's foundational to who you are. When it becomes unhealthy or unbalanced, see the dualistic nature of it? You can have a healthy and not healthy, because we live in a dualistic nature. You have to look at the nature of that trait. And if it is becoming, you're living life stuck, right? Or I'm going to use myself. This will make this easier. It's easier when I use myself in this example. I don't want to talk all the time about myself, but I don't know you, so I can't talk about your issue, because I'll just talk about my issue, my traits with the unhealthy dominant trait. So I have an extroverted intuition as my dominant trait. So that's all about possibilities and big thinking and new ideas. And I just want to discover and explore and create. And it's very unconventional. That's that personality trait, right? So it's wonderful when it's healthy. Oh my God, it's allowed me to do this, right? It's allowed me to discover this whole new way to address personality typing with a spiritual understanding. So that's amazing. We live in a dualistic world, remember? So the flip side of that is when this trait starts to fully control. Like it's always seeking new opportunities. It's always thinking new potential. It's always wanting something new, right? It's always looking at the big picture. It's always wanted to create something different and be unconventional. It's a balance. You can't always live in that world, right? Because if you always live in that world, it takes over your personality type, okay? That essential self can take over yourself. And when you start doing that, you don't take time to think. You keep on doing, and then you're like, it's not enough. I'm never enough. This is never going to be enough. I can't do this. You become overwhelmed, and it's fear. It's fear-based analogies sitting in, okay? They're taking over, and then when you get overwhelmed, my personality type gets very argumentative, gets controlling, can be arrogant. I know, yeesh, not so pretty, but that's what happens. So if you're sitting in your personality trait and you're in your personal reality, and you're finding that you're in that kind of state of like you're angry or you're just like, I'm not enough, I'm not doing this, and there's something amiss with your personality type. So I gave you a journal prompt, since you might not have this trait, and it might not be within your personality. I'm an ENTP, so do comment. Let me know what your personality type is below. That'd be awesome. But so I did this journal prompt for you that allows you to look at what you feel your strengths are, write those down, and then the other side of the paper, write down, or in your journal, write down what could be the opposite effect of that. So for me, like going and doing and being and seeing and learning and all that, you get so busy in the doingness of it, you can't always have a possibility. Because to turn a possibility into a reality, you need to stop and think through it. Then it just becomes a possibility. Then it just becomes a thought that goes into the ethers of what? If it's a possibility with no thought and logic and structure to it, then it becomes nothing. It just stays a possibility. See what I'm saying? So a possibility turned into an idea, turned into something that's usable. I need to take the time to stop my doing and think it through. And not only do I need to think it through for myself, I need to think, how is this going to affect everybody around me? It's not just about me, right? I said, that's the spiritual work in it, right? Because if you're only doing just for doing for you, it's a very lonely place to be. Because we're creatures of, we like to be around other people. And even introverts do. You don't have to be around masses of people, But you like to be around other people. You like to have those relationships, that community where you feel belonged and loved, right? So if you're going through transitions, and you're not seeing yourself for who you truly are, and then you start making decisions based on assumptions from somebody else, like somebody gives you advice, you're like, oh yeah, that's good. Well, what if that's not you? I know I did it. That's why it took me 7 years to get all over my crap, because I was just, I wasn't paying attention. I was being told a lot of times through myself, and I was hearing it, and I was like, I think I know better. Really, Nina? Do you know better than divine intelligence? Well, divine intelligence showed me that I didn't know better. That's why I went through a 7-year life tsunami. It was a 7-year transition. I learned a hell of a lot, but it was painful. I had to do the work. It was extremely challenging. There were days like I just couldn't even get up. I mean, I was just like a ball. I was just like I was a crying mess. It was horrible. But you take one step at a time, And we're in a crazy world right now. We are basically all in a life transition of some type. Whether you're in a place you're just like, yeah, I don't like what they're doing here. I gotta move. Or you're with somebody and you're like, I'm tired of being treated like this. And I'm working on myself, and I'm just living this negative space all the time, and I know better. It's bringing me down, and I can't do what I need to do here. And you're ready to just have the conversation, work through it, put some boundaries in place, or you're ready just to get the hell out. I'm not ever saying give up on a situation, but when's enough? And especially women, we are like, oh, we can change it, it'll be good, because we're such nurturers, we want to find that harmony, but it's hard. It's hard when you're in a situation when you're not with somebody that doesn't respect you, that crosses boundaries all the time, doesn't see you for who you are. That's really hard. That's really tough. And that happens to a lot of us, but I want you to awaken from that. I want you just to grab life like a big bowl of ice cream. You just jump into it and you enjoy every freaking moment to the last drop. That's what I want for you. I want you to really enjoy your life. That's what we're all here for. And now is the time, because, we are evolving at such a fast pace. The energies are coming in so fast. And it's scientifically proven right now. We're in the middle of this Milky Way belt. I don't want to go there all because I study a lot of stuff. But it's like the energy that's coming here, we're in the middle of it. It is crazy energy. It's awesome energy. But it's moving at such a quick pace. If you don't know yourself, you're really going to be floundering. Because it's like, whoa, oh my God. Like, it's time. It's just time to know your true self. And if you start looking at these hidden traits, these hidden little secrets, so the first secret is knowing your essential self, that dominant trait. Know that trait. Know it well. Know it intimately. Know every aspect about it. Every aspect about it. And then secondly, right, we learn how triggers aren't always negative. Sometimes triggers are here to teach you, and sometimes you're here to teach others. So instead of just going, oh God, that triggered me, it's so negative, what do I have to learn? Well, sometimes it's about you teaching somebody else. And yeah, sometimes it is like, do I have to recognize this is something I need to learn? Or do I have to recognize that, I need to teach this person, they just crossed boundaries with me. I need to teach that. Because if you don't teach it, you just take it on. and then it becomes your energy, and it's negative. So you don't want that. And then the third thing is really looking at that essential self again. What's so great about it? And I'm like, look at the opposite end of that. Like, how can this not be so great? Like I gave you an example with my trait, right? Because we live in a dualistic world. So amongst the good, there's bad. And amongst the horror, there is good. It just takes a lot of devotion and commitment to really wanting to see it. And that's where those inner eyes come in. Because what you're seeing is one thing. What you see with your inner eyes is a totally different perspective. That's why I talk about the inner eyes. They're like windows to the soul. And once you start connecting with your soul, you start connecting with divine intelligence. So you're connecting into the whole aspect of yourself, your true self. And that's when you walk in that joy with clarity, confidence, and courage, because you know who you are from the inside out. You know yourself. It's a really beautiful place to be. And I want, if you're going through a transition, your next chapter to be more beautiful than the one you're coming from, than the one you're closing. Closing a chapter, entering a chapter. And I want this new chapter to be beautiful. I want it to be so beautiful for you. You deserve it. It's your God-given right. You deserve it. And when you make a choice, I want you to make a choice that's divinely inspired, that totally resonates with your personality. So you step into that joy instead of stepping into somebody else's choice that you think you should do. You're letting that person off of your life. And you want to write your own life story. You want to be in your true self. It's so important, I know. Because I lived it. I lived not being in it, and today I'm living in it. And I'm so much more happy. I'm so much more joy-filled. And I'm not happy from a thing happy. I kind of don't like to use the word happy that much. That's a whole other story. But I am more joyful. There's so much more freedom in who I am. And I'm not afraid to say, no, I don't want to do that. Or no, that's not my choice. That's your choice and I respect it. But don't put your choice on me. Don't do that. Because you're not me. That's a boundary. That's one of those triggers. Ooh, you'll trigger me on that one. You're going to tell me, and sometimes we have to be in line sometimes and follow laws. And I get that. Because the world would be to freaking total chaos like it isn't now. So I don't know about I don't know if that's the right thing to say, right? But, honestly, when you're in love, you don't need any laws. Ooh, I just had that download. Because honestly, when you're in love, you don't need any laws. You know why? Because you respect and love somebody else so much, because you love yourself that much, but you respect them so much that you would never harm them or be unkind or take what's not yours and not share and not give, because you're in love. So maybe we are doing the world, and maybe we're all putting laws up that are just a bunch of bullshit. Maybe our number one law needs to be love yourself. And a lot of Christ consciousness coming through, right? Love yourself. Yep. Love yourself and love the world and love everybody else. Just like you love yourself. Just like you expect to be treated. How do you want to be treated? And I know there are elements of people out there that don't get this. And that's okay. That's just their path. That's their journey. And that's having the boundaries to step around them and to continue with your life, your way, your true self, finding yourself. And this isn't about changing yourself. It's about evolving yourself. You have an essential self. It's never going to change. You can evolve it, like I have, like I still am, like I'll be till I take my last breath. Anyway, thanks for letting me go on. I kind of get on a rampage, don't I? But this is why I come on YouTube, because I can't do this on my blog. And I don't, Instagram, I have an Instagram feed. So if you want to say hi to me on Instagram, I just do quick reels. So if you're that person that wants a quick down and dirty, go there, because that's what I'm going to be doing on Instagram. Here, I like to teach a little bit more because I get into things, and you see I get these downloads, and it just comes out. So it's just part of who I am. I'm just being myself. I want that for you. It's what I want for you. I really do. So I hope you enjoy the new blog. Make it a great week. We've got a lot of Aquarian energy this week with moons in Aquarian. I'm an Aquarian, so it's so funny too, because this is a side note. You guys will kick on this and see if this happens for you, right? But I'm an Aquarian. My Enneagram type is a 7, and I'm an ENTP. So it's just like, it's the same person, just regurgitated in different theories. It's so funny. I'm like, well, that's that. Yeah, that's still me. Like, so that's what I'm saying. You never change your essential self. That's where I brought that up. But I think it's funny. See if that's the same for you, because it is for me. Like, no matter what theory or what personality type thing or astrology and numerology, same thing. Same thing. It's just Nina, right? Anyway, thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel if you find these YouTube videos helpful for you. I'm really here to teach you how to find your true self. And if you're going through a life transition, it's like paramount that you know who you are. You do not want to be making choices based on what somebody else thinks you need. You need to make choices from your core, from your divinely inspired self, from your true self, from that essential self that I talked about. And you better know all your personality traits, because they impact everything you do. So that's what I'm here for. Like I said, if you're enjoying these, please subscribe. If you got a friend you think would like them, send them on over. I'd appreciate it. That's how I'm going to start spreading the word. The more people here, the more people that'll be walking in their true self, and the world will become a better place. Because you know what? You're doing what you were inspired to do. You're doing what you were called here to do. Everyone on the planet was called by divine intelligence to be here to do something that contributes to the world. I don't care how small, I don't care how big. The impact is real, and that's all I care about. It's the impact, right? So I love you guys. You're so kind to be following along with me. I appreciate you. Please subscribe, hit ding the little bell so you know. Like, I always do these on Sunday, so I'll be uploading this shortly. It's Sunday morning. It's a beautiful day here. It's hot, but it's still beautiful. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you next Sunday. Love you all. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Now go find yourself. Gosh, don't change. Find yourself and evolve. I know, I sound like my mother. All for now. Bye.